We're here in Sandia Park, and I'm with Dennis Kellogg, who is the president of Impact out here in the East Mountains. And Dennis is gonna tell us a little bit about what Impact is and how he became involved in the organization.
Well, the East Mountain Protection Action Coalition is just that. It's a coalition of community organizations that share a common vision of our rural community and a sustainable community.
Okay, gotcha. So there's some things happening right now in this area that we need to talk about. So can you tell us, we're going to talk about Campbell Ranch, and can you tell us, what does the basic problem of Campbell Ranch present to our area?
Well, Campbell Ranch is a 22-year-old proposed master plan community, placing what would be more of a urban setting in a rural community. And it hasn't been able to launch for a variety of reasons, primarily water. They don't have a sustainable water because our basin here is depleted and cannot sustain a 4,000 home, 2 golf course, and a hotel-based community in this neighborhood.
Yeah, so if it's been going on for 22 years or so, why haven't they built yet? I mean, what's going on with that?
Well, I'm not an economist, but I believe it's a matter of supply and demand. You have to have a demand if you did build 4,000 homes in a rural setting that, the people would come to purchase them. But I think the threshold issue is always been water. And water is something that in the East Mountains that Impact is very concerned with. It's a limited resource, and we need to not overburden that by unsustainable development.
So I've actually been a resident out in the East Mountains for 27 years. And if this has been going on for about 22 years, I think the sentiment is, well, it's not a thing anymore. Isn't it dead?
Well, a lot of people think that, but that's not the case. Back in November of last year, there was a proposal to create minor subdivisions, which is really not a amendment of the master plan, but kind of a workaround. And in that master plan, there is certain rules and regulations and conditions that have to be met. The minor subdivision model that was submitted and heard by the Planning and Zoning Commission in Edgewood basically circumvented getting the fundamentals taken care of before going forward.
Gotcha. So the minor subdivision is different from the master plan that was originally proposed by Campbell Ranch. Is that correct?
Correct. The minor subdivision is, I would call it a hybrid, but it's not valid in our eyes. Impact doesn't feel it's a valid element of the existing master plan, which has requirements. And in fact, the County of Bernalillo agrees with us. They have filed an appeal to that planning and zoning decision in November, as well as Impact. And on March 6th, we will have a hearing to demonstrate the reasons that we don't think that, one, it's not a good idea, but more importantly, two, it actually violates the town of Edgewood's ordinances.
Gotcha. So what do you see, like, if this were to go through, right? If they did the minor subdivision or the master plan, whichever, how do you feel like, as even a resident, let's put aside the issue of water for now and the natural resources that would be needed to sustain that sort of a development, what do you see some of the impact is?
Well, I think the impact, obviously, to my neighborhood here in San Pedro Creek, and certainly Paako, is an increase in noise, traffic. You've got a potential for crime with 4,000 new homes. It more than doubles the population and the home stock. But some of the other impacts are they haven't prepared for law enforcement. Bernalillo County has not agreed to any kind of service delivery. And we don't have the school capacity, the law enforcement, the firefighting. It endangers our existing community. But more important, what Impact envisions is a sustainable development. And so we have reached out to the owners of Campbell Ranch and welcome the opportunity to talk about what a sustainable development looks like. But a sustainable development from a starting point isn't 4,000 homes and 2 golf courses.
Right, right. Gotcha. So what's next? What do we need to do as residents in the East Mountains, especially up and down this corridor of 14?
Well, Impact, along with a number of other neighborhood associations, the Paa-ko Association and so forth, we keep informed, and we're generally watchdogs to where these developments might go. On March 6th, it's an important date, and it's important for the community to either zoom into that meeting within Edgewood,
Okay.
or equally show up. There'll be plenty of room for the public to hear the case and see how the commissioners in Edgewood actually respond to the appeal.
Okay. So we all need to rally the troops for March 6th.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's good, and I do recommend that folks, to keep informed, contact our organization, and our website is the Impact, that would be EMPAC.org, and you can sign up for emails and get the news on the topic as we send out emails, and keep informed. We also have all of the resources from this proposal if you're interested in looking at the history.
Great. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming.
Yeah. You know, in urban areas, high density developments can increase the value of surrounding neighborhoods. But in rural areas, high density residential developments tend to have the opposite impact on surrounding property values compared to urban areas. I could list 20 reasons why, but here's just a few. Think about, why do people move out here? Rural communities often attract home buyers seeking open spaces, tranquility, and a lower population density. The introduction of high-density housing can disrupt this appeal, making the area feel more urbanized and less desirable to those who value rural living. Think about this: a new apartment complex or cluster of townhomes in an area previously dominated by single-family homes on large lots and more of a luxury type home. It will diminish the scenic and spacious feel, leading to a lower demand for the existing homes. I'll be at the next meeting, as I have a dog in this fight.